You may not realize this, welding has improved our lives since the beginning of civilization. Today, more than half of the products and services in Canada involve welding. Cars, trucks, pipelines, phones, all involve welding in one way or another. We depend on the talent and creativity of welders on a daily basis. If you don't think welding plays a big role in our everyday lives, then try to think about what it would be like without welding. Let's start with water, something we take for granted every day. Without welding, how would we get water? Welding is necessary for building dams and reservoirs. Without welding, food wouldn't be the same. Farmers use welded equipment to plant and harvest crops. Welded trucks, trains, and airplanes transport food from the field to the table. Appliances that are welded cook and store our food. Even if we could get food that we are used to eating daily, how would we cook it? We couldn't use any appliances like ovens, stoves, because they rely on welding for their constructions. Same goes for fridges, sinks, and pots and pans, just to mention a few items. What about our homes? We all need a place to live. Welding is used in home construction, as well as the furniture and lighting and appliances that fill them. It's also worth considering that most things in a house need energy as well. From the pipelines needed to help deliver the natural gas to our homes for heat, to the transmission towers that power our electronics. We would be sitting in a cold, dark house without welding. We also wouldn't have computers, TVs, phones, or internet. All the important things in our world need welding in one way or another to help make them work.
From welding space shuttles to airplanes, trucks, cool cars, motorbikes, bicycles, power plants, buildings, houses. No matter what you do, without welding, it will not be possible.
Welding is electrifying and in demand. It is important and useful for everyone. It is interesting and high-tech. It's not just a job, it's a career that can take you places, both in the kinds of jobs you can do and where you can do them. You can see that welding is a critical skill that will always be in demand. Because it plays an important role in so many fields around the world, welding can connect you to things you never dreamed possible. At a general level, welding is a joining process used in the manufacturing and repair of metals. Welding can be a trade on its own, such as a pipeline welder, or it can be part of another trade, such as an iron worker, pipe fitter, or mechanic who use welding as part of their overall duties. While the actual act of welding, creating arcs and sparks, is what most people think a welder does, in fact, a large part of a welder's job can be spent reading blueprints, preparing material for welding through cutting and grinding, as well as material handling and fit-up, moving material that will be welded safely into the correct position. Once the welding starts, a good welder will need good hand and eye coordination and firm understanding of technical concepts like heat transfer, distortion, and metallurgy to successfully complete a job. As such, a welder is part artist, part technician, and part scientist. There are many parts to welding, and a good welder needs to understand them all. Blueprints are welding drawings that provide information to the welder about what needs to be constructed. This information is in the form of weld symbols and notes that indicate the kinds of preparation, welding, and finishing required. They can also contain information about material that needs to be shaped, cut, or ground, where this should be done, and how the final pieces will be assembled. Before a weld can be made, the pieces to be joined need to be properly prepared. This can require cutting something to length, grinding an edge to a specified angle, or shaping pieces to fit correctly. Welding is the physical act of joining two or more pieces of metal together with heat. In technical terms, what happens during welding is the joining of material through coalescence.
Coalescence means coming together or bonding or joining. It's used in the definition of welding because there are so many different welding processes in use. Some of them, such as arc welding, use heat to melt the parts to be joined and the filler metal to form a weld. Other processes, such as high impact or explosive welding, use the force of the explosion to bring the parts close enough together that there's direct metal to metal bonding without any melting. So the word was chosen because of the different mechanisms that the different welding processes use.
Heat is needed for any welding process and can be in the form of a flame provided by a torch fueled by a gas. or more commonly, an electrical power supply that provides a high power arc at the end of an electrode at the point where welding is to take place. This is arc welding, while welding with a flame is called oxy-fuel or plasma welding. Arc welding can generate temperatures that can get higher than 5,500 degrees Celsius. That is as hot as a temperature on the sun's surface. The heat melts metals in the form of an electrode and a joining metal into a molten pool that quickly solidifies into a strong joint. When arc welding is done properly, the resulting joint is stronger than the original two pieces. As discussed earlier, welding is everywhere. If you choose to become a welder, you can find work in a number of industries, in construction of buildings, bridges, and boats, in the manufacturing of products, and in science, exploring new material and ways of creating better, more durable products. There are people who specialize in robotic welding used in manufacturing, micro welding used in medical devices, and mechanical and repair welding, building and fixing the things that help shape our modern society.
There are many opportunities in welding in industry, from manufacturing to construction to repair welding and even in research and development.
Welding has evolved from its origins in the early 1900s. Since then, the processes have changed and improved to provide better results with less impact on welders and the environment. All modern welders are required to use a range of personal protection devices, and employers are legislated to provide work environments that meet extremely high requirements. The widespread adoption of technologies like fume ventilation, air scrubbing, and proper lighting now provide work environments that are very different than what existed in the past. A well-trained welder knows the dangers and how to protect against them. When done correctly, welding is a very safe career due to the emphasis put on job safety and the codes, standards, and regulations that are in place to protect welders. Welding requires technical skills. Good welders need to have a solid understanding of math and science and an understanding of the mechanical properties of the metals they work with. Welding is also an art. Good welders enjoy working with their hands and take pride in the quality of their work. Welding is also about direction. Most welders will be working as part of a team and working on projects with other trades. Good welders are able to take and understand direction and know what is critical to staying safe and creating good quality work. Welding requires ongoing education. Learning to weld is a skill that needs to be refreshed as new technologies come along. Good welders are always looking for opportunities to learn and improve on their skills. Welding is about flexibility. Most welders will find that their job takes them to different places, doing different kinds of tasks. Good welders learn how to adapt and apply their skills to the job site. Welding has its risks. Good welders understand that they are working with potentially dangerous things like electricity, flammable gas and fumes in potentially dangerous environments. Good welders understand and accept these risks, and always work to minimize them. Welding is a challenging career that can provide a lifetime of employment. In terms of the trades, welders are in high demand and make an above-average salary. Good welders know that their job has many parts beyond just welding, and a strong education and great hand and eye coordination is the foundation for success. For someone wanting to make their mark on the world, welding provides a great opportunity. Things like buildings, bridges, pipelines remain long after the work has been done. Simply put, what a welder does impacts the lives of many for a long time, reshaping the world we live in. A career in welding provides a range of options, from striking an arc to research in the lab, developing new materials and processes that will change the future. For more information on careers in welding, visit the CWA Foundation website.